Okay, this is putting together the Colt 1911 Government. It's a Series 80. First part to put in is the trigger. You put the longer part in first. There's a slot in the back. You find that slot and slide it in. Turn the pistol over. Okay, so this magazine release piece actually has a spring and a pin that has a piece that sticks out, and it goes into the magazine release, and you see that it's keyed there. So what you do is you put the spring in. This is if you've had it come apart. Then you're going to need the screwdriver. It pushes down and turns to lock. Okay, so this little piece right here has to fit into a little slot right there. So the way you put this together is it slides down. On mine, I actually have to turn it back, push it up with my finger a little bit, and turn it into that slot. Now it just pops back and forth. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, on the Series 80, you have two parts that aren't on the Series 70. These are part of a safety, and they're going to come on next. The piece that looks like a little duck head, the bill faces the back of the pistol. Okay? The disconnector will fit on top of it, and then riding on top of the disconnector is the Sear, and they all fit together like that. The disconnector with the Sear on top of it, you stick it in a hole at the back of the gun, back of the frame, and then the flat part of that disconnector needs to fit on top. Trying to get my fingers out of the way. It has to fit on the back of the trigger. Okay. Now, the smaller pin with the flat side, has a little round side. I say that because there's another pin that has a dimple in it. You want the flat one. The round part goes in first through the front hole. That should go straight through those two pieces that you put in. And then as soon as you get it going through, I pushed it too far. Go. I'm going to grab this little duck bill piece with my tweezers because my fingers are too big to fit in there. You might have some skinny fingers to do this, and the pin has to go through that hole. The same pin that holds the disconnector and the Sear holds this piece. Remember, the duck bill part goes to the back. Go. So this is the hammer and the hammer strut, and they go through this hole right here. Now they're going to fit in the back, but this other Series 80 part is going to fit on the back side of it, with this pin going across the top of the frame right here. See the slot? Okay. So, put the hammer in, line it up with the hole. You're using the fatter pin that's flat on one end, curved on the other, and you're putting the curved side through first. Okay, and it went through all the way, so I got to back it out. Enough to stick this pin in. And what I do is I drop it in there and hold the top with my thumb. and you got to jiggle it until the pin goes in. Okay? So there it is on top. So when you do this, you need to make sure that the strut is towards the back of the pistol. Okay? If it gets stuck inside the grip, you're going to have to take it apart, put it back on. Okay? And that's what uses the mainspring to make the hammer move. Okay. Okay. The next piece to put in is the slide stop spring, and it has a solid piece and a piece that's indented. Okay, the indented piece goes in first, and it goes into this tube on the side of the pistol, and it just slides in. And of course, there it goes. So it just slides in. Friction holds it in. The next part to go on, okay, this is the Sear spring. And there is a little lip right here on the end. And that lip needs to fit into a slot on the back of the grip. Okay? The Sear spring powers the Sear, the trigger, the disconnector, and you fit it in the back, and it has to go into that little slot. And I have it upside down. No, I don't. Okay. Now, this bar on the back sits on top of the middle part of the spring. This part works the Sear. Okay, I usually put the mainspring housing in the back of the frame to keep this spring from popping out. And the way this works is this hammer strut right here actually needs to fit inside of a hole in the back of that. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it up just so it sits there and keeps it out of my way for a minute. Okay. While I work on the grip safety. Okay, the grip safety slides in, and it's going to use the pin from the thumb safety, which slides through the hole on the grip safety. And you need the hammer to be about 3/4 of the way cocked, and it'll drop down. Okay, the next part is to push this housing all the way up, put the pin in that has the dimple, and it goes right there. So, if you need to use a little bit of a help and aid to get it in there, you might want to use a rubber mallet instead of a metal mallet. But tap it in, and now it should be operational. Don't dry fire it here. You don't want to break anything. Test it to see if everything's working. Okay, it's working. Alright, the next step is to assemble the slide with the barrel, spring, and in pieces. Okay, and then all we have left is the grip. The first part to go in is the barrel, and it has this link in it. That link goes up, and you slide it to the back. And it needs to stand up. Okay. Now, the spring has an indent on the top, but our barrel's upside down, so you need to turn it so the curved part's down. Okay? And then, with the link up, you need to slide it on. Now when I slide it on, this little Series 80 top link is going to want to fall down. Okay, so you got to remember that when you slide this thing on. Actually, I wasn't supposed to do that. Okay. So, if I try to bang it on right now, you'll notice that Series 80 link is hitting the metal. It needs to be down for the slide to go over it. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to push this thing back until this part right here is over that square hole. Okay, the key here is to get this magazine release lined up, and it goes through this hole. It has to go through the linkage on that the barrel, and then there's a slanted piece right here that pushes that out of the way. Now you don't want to push down too hard, or what you're going to do is you're going to scratch your frame. You want to make sure it's lined up before you push down. And get that frame exactly right, and it should just go. Okay, the last two pieces are these. This one slides over the spring. And is that anywhere you're in focus? Mm-hmm. You drop it in and rotate it. Actually, I need to go the other way. One way it'll rotate part way, one way it rotates all the way. You're going to push it down part way to make it catch, get it lined up straight, and let go. Now we're together. And it works. They just pop over the grip bushings on both sides. And drop the screws in the hole and tighten the screws. And for the first part that hasn't given me a headache on the whole gun, the grips go together perfectly. Probably done 100 of these, and I've never had one give me so much grief. There it is. Together and operational.